Tennessee fans, how you feeling today? Probably pretty good with the news that just came down. I am having Sports Talk Jay on in just a moment. Excited for you to be able to hear from him and what's going on with Tennessee football. You guys just went out and made a massive hire in the strength and conditioning department. And before you tune me out, I know strength and conditioning, maybe not the most exciting, sexy thing in the world. This is one you should absolutely be excited about. But stick around because Sports Talk Jay and I also talk about the Joey Aguilar situation, who the likely starter is for Tennessee coming up this year, and why this strength and conditioning coach is a perfect fit for Tennessee's biggest problems. Also, going to chat a little bit about Danny Do-Right, which Sports Talk Jay has effectively named your AD, and why maybe he is holding back on the NIL front just a little bit. Sports Talk Jay provides his thoughts there. So without further ado, let's jump into our conversation with Sports Talk Jay. All right, we got Sports Talk Jay on with us to talk about Tennessee football today. Jay, you guys, if I'd have told you 5 years ago that you were stealing a strength and conditioning coach from Indiana, I don't think you'd have been too jazzed up about it. But after watching what they did with a bunch of 3-stars this year, that I don't know if it's the move of the offseason because you also got Jim Knowles, but that has to make you feel a little bit better going into the dry season of college football.
Yeah, I think what Tennessee's doing, because we're following the rules of the House settlement, we're not spending anything more than 20.5 that we're allowed to spend. But we've got plenty of money this year because we have driven a ton of revenue over last year, and we got extra money. So I think what he's done is said, well, Heupel, you can't have the players that you necessarily all want, but we'll let you have all the assistants you want and the best ones available. And this guy is supposed to be one of the absolute best, and they're paying him $1+ million, which is, can you imagine a strength coach getting paid over $1 million?
Insane amount of money.
Yeah.
But a guy that, I mean, I'm a little surprised that Indiana, let him go.
Yeah.
Not let him go, not like that, but let him get away is maybe the better way to say that. I don't know if Cignetti's just kind of confident enough that we can find somebody that can, it's more me than it is him. But I think this is a big deal for Tennessee, especially when we talk about quarterbacks here in just a minute. Your quarterbacks need to put on some weight and some strength if something crazy doesn't happen with Joey. So I don't know. I think this is a good move. I don't know that it's better than the Knowles move, but I do think that both these moves should help a ton.
Yeah, here's the thing. Fernando Mendoza, who was the quarterback of Indiana, obviously, won the Heisman. He came in skinny. He came in from California very skinny, and they put on about 15 pounds on him of muscle. And you saw he's pretty tough. He got hammered. Miami knocked the crap. They even hit him late. I mean, they bloodied him up, and he handled it. So maybe he can do that for George MacIntyre, we've got a guy he's 6'6", 195.
Do you think that, I mean, obviously they made a change there, and so some degree of it. Do you think Tennessee felt like they felt soft or not strong enough this year? Was it more of an execution thing on defense, or was it just they got out physicaled a lot? How much was this needed, in your opinion?
Yes, to everything you said. Yeah, we were weak at the point of attack. We were weak chasing them down. We were weak following them. We were weak advancing towards them. I mean, our defense was terrible. It was just, it's so frustrating watching that defense. It reminded me of the first year under Heupel when we had no defense and we just scored with Hendon Hooker and had some great wide receivers and running backs. And that offense just freaked everybody out is what it reminded me of. And, we need to get stronger. And I think what they say that what he does is he doesn't try to make you slow strong. He tries to make you fast strong, which means when you lift weights, you lift them quickly. You're not trying to get 500 pounds. You're trying to get whatever it is you're lifting as fast as possible. So at the point of attack, it's velocity, not necessarily mass and strength. It's how quickly. It's almost like a bullet. The faster a bullet travels, the more devastating it is, not necessarily the size and the mass. So I think that is his mindset. And so it makes sense that he had all these 3-stars and they were knocking the crap out of people that were bigger than them. Maybe.
Yeah, they were developed. I mean, so much gets made about the way that Indiana looked, but they were developed incredibly well, not only physically, but mentally. But the physical part of it is a big deal. Like when you look how big Miami is and how they were able to go toe to toe with them in the trenches, that's a big deal, man. And so like technique's important. I get it. Strength is important. Smarts are important. But man, if you just get physically outmanned, like you said, Tennessee did a lot on defense this year, that has to improve. And maybe with a new DC and new strength coach, you will see a big improvement there.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. I was impressed with Indiana because Miami's defensive line and offensive line were massive, and they're first-round draft picks. I mean, these are guys that are going to go in the top. They've got 2 guys that are going to go in the top 10. The defensive lineman and their offensive lineman, they're going top 10. So they had many guys like that, and Indiana, with their little 3 stars, were knocking the crap out of them too. I mean, they weren't getting bullied like I thought they would. Now, Mendoza got hit for the first time the entire playoff, so they were getting to him, but Indiana hung in there and won the game. So
credit to them for it. Yeah. This is our new SEC Football Addiction channel. So if you're watching this here, we usually put this on College Football Addiction. Make sure you are subscribed. I'll throw Jay's videos on here from now on. Talking on quarterbacks, you guys picked up a transfer from Colorado. That feels like a depth piece, like you were talking about MacIntyre. Unless Joey gets some kind of a extension waiver or something, it feels like it'll be MacIntyre this year.
Yeah, most likely. We'll find out about Joey on the 10th of February at 1 p.m. Central Time, folks. Needless to say, I'll be covering the crap out of that. We may not find out that day. That would be obviously super helpful. If not, then probably MacIntyre or Faison Brandon. I would think MacIntyre would be the starter. We brought in Staub, who 112th in the transfer portal. What are we doing? I mean, it
just a depth piece.
Yeah, he's third string guy, I guess. And you got to have 3, so they figured we're not going to spend a bunch of money on him. And he does have a nice arm on deep passes. He can run a little bit. Lane Kiffin wanted him as their 4-string guy, so the fact that Lane wanted him tells me he does have some talent. And certainly if Heupel wants him, he has some talent. But I don't expect him to really do anything.
Yeah, I would be interested to see if they did have to go with him, like how much of a QB whisperer Heupel really is.
Yeah.
'Cause we didn't have big expectations for Joey coming in. And
that's true.
The magic he was able to work there was a big deal. I think this would be a larger ask for him to turn this guy into Joey or Nico or any of those guys. But, you could have worse quarterback coaching than Josh Heupel. You mentioned this, and I just wanted to get your take on it. And we talked about it a little bit on your show, so I don't mean to make people listen to things that are too repetitive. But I think I struggle with this as an FSU fan, too, is my AD very much believes in the cap. It seems like Danny believes the same thing there at Tennessee. Just the fan base hates that? Or what's the percentage that's like, well, at least we're playing by the rules? It can't be very big because they watch all your rivals do whatever the heck they want. It seems pretty frustrating, huh?
I'm going to have to do a poll on that and find out. I think it's split down the damn middle, though. I swear I do. There's plenty. And the thing that's most frustrating, Danny came out because he knew the $304 million in revenue was going to come out. And he said, look, we're on probation because of Jeremy Pruitt. We signed the house deal. We need to be following the rules because he knew everybody was going to scream and holler because he raised ticket prices. He raised the talent tax, all these things. And the money exploded. But when I saw $304 million in revenue they took in last year, I almost fell over. I could not believe it went up that much. Now, my brothers, who both have season tickets, said, we understand how it got that high. We know.
We paid for it to get that
exactly. Said, we were surprised it wasn't more. But I've named, a lot of people call him Danny Dollars. I've named him Danny Do-Right because he is the Dudley Do-Right of college football. And there's plenty of guys following the rules, but it's so frustrating when you got the Lane Kiffins of the world that are out there flaunting it so bad. He's like, you remember the fake injuries he would do where he wouldn't even pretend. Yeah. He would just tell them to go down, and they'd go down. And even the announcers were like, this is at least fake it. Fake you're faking. And he couldn't do it. That's who Lane is. He's going to be like, I'm going to spend $1 billion and there's nothing you can do about it. And it makes people crazy. And I think that's what's upsetting people so much. You've got the cheaters are cheating so bad, allegedly.
I have a theory with some of this, and I'm not saying it applies to Florida State situation or Tennessee's or anywhere else's. I think that some athletic directors, because outside NIL is supposedly still allowed to be a thing. Now you're supposed to run deals through the mechanism and have them checked in with the CSC and stuff. But I do have a theory, like obviously Tennessee has that $304 million in revenue coming in. He could very easily say, hey guys, what do we have, a $15 million surplus?
Yeah.
We need $10 million of that money that came into the Tennessee athletic department through the boosters or whatever the mechanism that does that. We need $10 million of that to you four guys right there that gave that $10 million. We need you to donate that to the NIL, and that's going to be paid outside of it. And to me, that would be the way that you circumvent it. You pay that outside of. I don't think athletic directors. I'm not saying it's Danny. I'm not saying it's my guy. Blanket statement. I'll use your allegedly for a minute. I don't think they want to see that bottom line any lower than it is. Though it might make their football team more competitive, I don't think he wants to see the revenue at $294 million with 10 of it going to the NIL on the outside, because that is the loophole. That's how Miami's doing it. That's how all these other programs are doing it. That's how LSU's doing it. LSU's paying the same cap amount that you guys are. They ain't paying no more in the cap because they would get in trouble for that. But what are they doing? They're diverting some of their funds off to NIL. And I don't think some athletic directors, they want all that money in for themselves so they can spend it on coaches, assistants, facilities, buildings, things like that. And if they're managing, what sounds better, 294 or 304? And so that's my take. I'm not saying that's Danny. I'm not saying that's my guy, but that's my theory on why some of them kind of keep that NIL kind of at arm's length. Because that's the only way you can pay more than the cap is to do it through NIL. So if you're Danny White and you got a $15 million surplus, why aren't you diverting $10 million of it over to your NIL funds and telling people, hey, we need you to donate to this NIL so that our programs can be better. We'll still operate in the black and we'll win more games. It doesn't make any sense to me. But again, these guys get paid a lot more money than I do to figure this stuff out.
There's two reasons why. Number one, the money they bring in that's donated for like facilities, see, that's tax deductible. So that's easier to get. Number one. Number two, he doesn't want to have to let anybody go or cut pay or do anything like that. He wants to be able to give raises. And there was the big concern, and we saw a lot of this, that a lot of programs were going to have to cut salaries and cut people because they were going to have to spend the 20.5. Well, he didn't have to do that because of this surplus of money. And that money's all tax deductible too, I believe, if you just give it to the athletic department as opposed to NIL, which is not. So there's two very important reasons why. And I think you're correct about that. They don't want to give up control of that money.
No. 10 million out of 305, they can't let 10 of it go.
They can't do it.
Even though, if you gave Josh Heupel an extra $10 million and said, hey, go spend it on whatever you want, you go from 8 wins to 10 wins like that.
It's a totally different game. If he has, first of all, he can go out and get just about any quarterback he wants plus two more defenders that are monsters.
Yep.
And that makes three guys. That's like 15% of your starters.
Yeah, and the most important one being the quarterback.
Absolutely.
And from a percentage, it might be 15%. It accounts for about 60% of your productivity because the quarterback is the most important. He touches the ball every play. And
you add $10 million to Tennessee's plate, it's a different team.
So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but again, I don't make these decisions. So, Jay, where can people follow you? Where can they find your work?
Oh, yeah, Sports Talk Jay at YouTube.
Appreciate you, buddy.
That's where I am.